It all started right here. What's now a typical suburban neighborhood in Birmingham, Alabama, was once home to a football game. But not just any football game, one that would be the start of one of the greatest college football rivalries in the history of the game. Named by Ralph "Shug" Jordan in 1964, the Iron Bowl has since become a staple in Alabama culture.
Cadillac, go crazy!
It's a game where legends are made. You can make your career. You can end your career. And when they play Alabama-Auburn, you did not want to be the guy who messed up.
1893. Benjamin Harrison was president, cars had just been invented, and gas was just 70 cents a gallon. And on February 22nd, 1893, Alabama and Auburn met on the football field for the first time at Lakewood Park.
When I think Iron Bowl, the first thing I think of is it's one of those. It's a must win.
Growing up in Alabama, that's all I know is the Iron Bowl. I don't know much more. I know professional teams. I just know Alabama and Auburn.
Auburn, who was then named the Agricultural and Mechanical College of Alabama, won 32-22 in front of 5,000 fans in that first meeting. In fact, the Tigers won 7 of the first 12 meetings before the series came to a screeching halt in 1907. The two teams couldn't come to an agreement on playing dates and had issues with player per diem. So from 1907 until 1948, there was no Iron Bowl in the Yellowhammer State. And that brings us right here. Historic Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Opened in 1927, the stadium was the largest in the state at the time. Over the years, it's seen plenty of important matchups, including the return of the Iron Bowl rivalry.
Growing up with the rivalry, the Alabama-Auburn game has always played a big role in my life because I grew up right across the street from the stadium. It was the biggest event. Sporting event of the year, and it all happened in my backyard, so to speak, because I grew up right across the street. So I parked cars, and then when I got old enough, I worked in the concession stands and sold cokes up in the upper deck.
For 4 decades, the Tide and the Tigers met in the Magic City, with Alabama finding their stride in the series, winning 26 of the 41 meetings.
But there's some, the kick is up.
But as the rivalry progressed, Auburn fans grew frustrated with the location of the game, insisting their rivals had home field advantage because of the proximity of Birmingham to Tuscaloosa.
We didn't understand as players, the importance to our fan base, to Auburn alumni, to play that game at home. And to play your home game on the road, that just didn't feel right.
So on December 2nd, 1989, the Iron Bowl made its way to the Plains for the first time in the history of the rivalry.
Typically, we used to walk 8 or 10 across. In this, it was so many people that we had to walk single file line, and you were in the mob. And so by the time we got to the stadium, into it, if you didn't feel the electricity, if you didn't feel the excitement, if you weren't ready to play, you weren't going to ever be ready to play.
It was terrifying, actually. All I remember is pulling up and the fans literally trying to flip our bus over. I mean, I thought we were just going to not make it into the stadium. But it really gave a good light to me as a player to say, man, this is more than just a regular old football game.
The Tigers handed Bama its first and only loss of that season, all in front of a sold-out Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Winning the game wasn't near as important as playing Alabama and Auburn. The score of the game, I mean, you're going to play a game every year, but it won't ever be but one first time. And that was big.
It definitely elevated me as a player to say, man, this is what we're going to be looking forward to every single year. This game, there's certain points in the year, but it's nothing like anticipating what the Iron Bowl is going to be like.
Following that loss on the Plains, the Tide rattled off 3 straight. For the next few years, the series alternated between Legion Field and Jordan-Hare until 2000. Alabama made some renovations to Bryant-Denny and hosted their first Iron Bowl since 1901 on November 18th. The two would then swap hosting duties every year from that point on. And every year, Auburn and Alabama always find a way to dazzle on the football field.
Being able to play in that game and witness the atmosphere and how crazy it gets for just that game, it's amazing. It's a greatest thing I've ever seen.
In its 123-year history, we've seen some of the most magical moments from this rivalry. The first televised game in 1964, Paul Bear Bryant's 315th career win, and the infamous Kick Six, and so much in between. We'll take a look at some of those magical moments coming up tomorrow night.